Hello, Ryan from the Columbian Park Zoo. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Doing all right. I know we're all trying to stay warm with it being a cold December as we
Yes.
kick off winter. So I guess I mean obviously the zoo is closed for the season, but everyone at the zoo is there. Obviously the animals just when the zoo closes, you guys don't just go home and wait until April when the zoo opens back up. You guys are there continuously taking care of the animals. So I mean, especially when we have these brutal cold temperatures, what do you guys do to kind of make sure the animals are taken care of, making sure they're out of the elements. What are some of the things you guys do?
So a lot of that planning comes even before we get the animals in. We want to make sure that when animals arrive, we can take care of them throughout all Indiana seasons. We don't have any snowbirds that ship south to Florida in the winter. They are all here year round. So we make sure that before they even get here, that there's going to be space indoors or in different areas where they are able to stay inside and warm up when it gets this cold. And so all animal species, dependent on the species, has a cold threshold. So if it hits that cold area, it might be that they aren't allowed outside at all. And when we hit I guess last week when it was hitting around 0 degrees, most of our animals were inside the whole time because it was too cold for them. But if it's that kind of in between, especially some of us like our wallabies, that in between, it's cold, but it's not too cold. What we can do is open up the doors, heat's on inside, but they can choose to come outside and hop around in the snow and explore. And honestly, most of the time they choose to be out there. So we let them choose when we can. They tend to, when they get cold, you see them go inside and warm up, and then they come back out. But we won't let them make a bad decision and go out in a blizzard or anything like that either.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, obviously, when the zoo closes up for a year, you guys are still there to help take care of them and making sure they can go out when they want to go out and that sort of thing. So it's kind of neat behind the scenes of what happens at the zoo when the zoo is not open for public visiting. So that's awesome.
And a
So,
lot of
right.
the animals who can't go outside at all, like our Galapagos tortoises, we're going to spend a little bit more time and effort making sure that their indoor area is clean and that they have new and exciting things put into their area and rearrange their furniture, so to speak, in their spot so that they have some enrichment, that they have some change, and it's not getting too boring for them. And although honestly, they seem, for the tortoises that I've experienced, they seem pretty happy as long as they have some tasty hay to browse on.
Yeah, just give them some happy food and rearrange the furniture every once in a while. That's just kind of like us too. We get cabin fever. We don't want to be outside, so we got to do something to, kind of change it up for us too. And just like the animals, they need it
Put
just
up
as
some
much as we do.
decorations. Yeah, it makes it nice. Mixes things up.
So we got the holidays, obviously, Ryan, coming up. And for those that want to maybe get, I don't know, something from the zoo for maybe family members or kids or whoever, how can people do that for the zoo?
Yeah, so if you're shopping and looking for someone who maybe wants more of an experience than a tangible gift, we do have some zoo vouchers and gift cards. You can gift memberships. So all this is available online. So we can look at gifting a membership for 2026 so they can come to the zoo when it does open. We have, even though the zoo isn't open during the off season, we still have classes and some camps and stuff that go on. So if there's a kid in your life that you want to have them come to a zoo event, you can do an EdBucks voucher, which is kind of like a gift card, so that they can choose to go to one of our classes that we have. We're going to have 3 classes for each of our age groups in the spring. So if you have ages about 6 to 11, I believe is the age range that's going to be, um, you can have them go to one of those camps or classes and get to meet an animal. So there's different options like that. If I'm a little biased, but I really enjoy the classes and the camps, so I think it's a pretty great gift. We also have Wild Encounters, which is where you get to meet a animal, and the website has a list of our different ones. I actually have one of our Wild Encounter animals to meet today.
Oh,
So,
cool.
but
Somewhere
it's
in
a
the zoo void, as we call it. That's
in the zoo
it.
void,
Somewhere
yes.
we don't get to see.
But it's
Well,
just like a small family or a group. It's about 2 to 4. Some of them are 6 people. We smaller amounts for the animals' comfort, but you get to come and have a little, very up close and personal meet and greet with some of the species. So it's definitely a cool gift. And you can book those either for the people or you can book them a voucher so that they can do the whole scheduling and you don't have to worry about it.
just in case you don't know what kind of encounter they want, just let them pick it themselves. Be on
Yeah,
the safe side. And you can get all that information, columbianparkzoo.org. That's the website to go to.
that's correct.
All right, Ryan. So who are we going to learn about today?
So today I was thinking about how cold it's been, and all the animals in Indiana that haven't migrated out and are finding ways to stay warm. And so I actually brought in one of our local species. It's also one that you can meet for a wild encounter. She's in a very official uh, animal carrier. It is a laundry basket, but it turns out Chewy doesn't make all the zoo animal size carriers. But we have a lovely Delilah Pearl, who is a Virginia opossum. And I actually have some tasty little, these are omnivore biscuits. It's almost like a dog kibble, but it's for an omnivore animal. Oh, there's that nose. Did you see it?
Hmm.
So I'm going to get it to come over and show off to the camera. Delilah, oh, hi. Will you come on over and say hello? Oh, maybe she's not hungry right now. And I'm trying to get you to stand up a little bit more. There we go. So Delilah's a Virginia opossum, which is a species from Indiana. They're the only marsupials in Indiana. So I mentioned wallabies earlier, or tiny kangaroos that have the pouches. That's a marsupial. So this possum also has a little pouch on her belly. And when she was born, she was inside mama's pouch as a little tiny bean-sized possum. Hello, there's that nose again. So they're a really cool species, the only one in North America, which is pretty special. Um, and they are found all over. They're very successful species in being in cities and around humans. And so they are all over urban and rural areas where there are people. They just are really good at hiding. They're nocturnal. So if you're someone who goes out at night, or maybe you have porch lights on and you can see outside the yard, you might see them. But if you aren't, if you're like me and I don't really go out after it gets dark, I very rarely will see possums, but they are all over. My family actually just put up a little like trail cam, one of those like motion sensor cams this summer, just to be like, what's in our yard? And it turns out quite a few possums, and we just had no idea because they only are out at like 4 a.m. Um, but yeah, they are all over. And this time of year, they don't hibernate. They are still out. So they'll be out foraging, looking for food. When it gets really cold, they'll be finding their own little dens to tuck themselves into and stay warm. But you still might see them going out, or you might even see footprints out in the snow. Hello, Delilah. Do you have any questions right now, Joe? Because I can keep going on about
Oh,
possums
I
all
bet.
day.
Yeah, I bet you could. But I'm just fun. It's just fun learning about them. What do you think are a couple of major misconceptions that do you think people have about opossums that aren't necessarily true?
Misconceptions about possums. So, one, sometimes people just think they're kind of dirty and gross, and aren't great for the environment, but they are a really cool species. They are very opportunistic. So whatever there's a lot of, that means they're eating. So that could mean they are eating plants, but they're also eating invertebrates. So things like tiny bugs or ticks. They could be eating those types of things. So if you're not a big fan of Lyme disease, there is some research that might show that possums are helping decrease that by eating those pesky bugs. Gonna have another bite? There we go. They aren't really hunters. They might if they catch something really tiny, but they are not good at chasing things down. So if they are eating meat, it's going to be things like carrion. I have heard issues with them potentially getting into like chicken coops and eating eggs, potentially killing chickens, but they aren't the brightest, they're not the strongest. So if you have a secure home for your animals, you really can coexist with them. And there's tons of reports of them actually hanging out around livestock or like house cats or outdoor cats. And getting along pretty well. So they're not a dangerous species as long as you, like most wildlife, respect them and give them their space. Hello. I know she was just checking us out again. Delilah Pearl was an orphan. She was actually found by somebody's dog who brought them in, and they were taken to a wildlife rehabilitator. And it was deemed she had a head injury at the time, and they didn't think she'd be able to survive on her own in the wild. And so that's how she ended up making it to our zoo. So I get a little close with her. If you do a wild encounter, or if you ever at a zoo program where Delilah comes to it, you will get a chance to see her. You might get a chance to touch her, and she doesn't feel as rough as you expect. That being said, if you have a possum in your backyard, please don't go touch it. They don't have that same connection with humans as Delilah, and they probably wouldn't like a stranger coming up to them, because they can potentially bite or scratch if they feel cornered. As a very last resort, they do play dead. People think that's a myth sometimes, but they can actually play dead, and it's apparently they're They can look pretty dramatic when they do it, and it's pretty convincing. They even release kind of an odor when they do it, so it just smells bad. Thankfully, I've never scared her enough that she felt like she needed to, and I hope I never have to. But they smell pretty bad, and hopefully the idea is the animal's like, whew, I don't know what that possum has, but I'm not messing with it. I don't want to catch that. And so they
I
leave it alone.
I think the a couple of times I've actually encountered an opossum was basically just letting the dog out, and then the possum just scurried away. Which
If they
then,
can, they do run, right? That's their
yeah,
preference. But like if it's like, oh no, I don't know what to do, they will lay down. What are you doing? I know they're nocturnal, and even though she's at the zoo, she definitely is awake more. She knows when food is here and when people are going in and going to clean her area. But she also still sleeps a lot during the day, so I had to wake her up earlier. I got another piece of food for you. We like to come over and show us that big nose. They got big teeth too. Not huge, but they have a lot of them. There's about 50 in there. It's more than I'm not an expert on North American animal dental teeth areas, but I hear it's pretty much most of any North American animal or mammal. So, are you going to come over? Are you going to bed? She's going back to bed. That's all right.
she's had enough.
But yeah, they're really cool animals. If you are out and see them, definitely enjoy it, appreciate them. Know that they're helping keep the environment safer and cleaner. It means that there's a healthy ecosystem around you of wildlife. And as long as you're not going over to try and pick them up, they're probably going to leave you alone. So it's a cool animal to see.
Awesome. Well, more information if you need it, columbianparkzoo.org, especially if you're looking for upcoming camps or maybe even gift ideas, columbianparkzoo.org. Ryan, thank you. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and we'll talk
Thank
to you
you.
again
You
next month.
too. See you in the new year.